There is a part of a deeper level of spiritual awakening that is not pretty, that is not joyful, that is dirty, that is visceral, that is very ugly. And today I want to share with you an experience of an awakening at the level of consciousness I felt has given me the most ground by putting the roots of my feet and putting my feet on the earth in a way that any other situation could have done. And it happened through a crisis. And I feel that many times when we feel like we're experiencing something that is misaligned with ourselves, we think that we can meditate our way out of that. But the experience that I have with this energy, that now I know how to name it, Kali, was totally the opposite. Years ago, I was living in a different continent. I was in a relationship, and this person was the only person that I had in this country. And that relationship became violent and became very abusive. And I felt that in my feminine energy, my responsibility was to soften, was to make myself small, was to stay there and keep going and be patient and be soft and just stay as a woman. And I remember nights going to bed literally afraid this person could kill me in the other side of the world, afraid that I didn't have the number of the police when I was living there. And the only way that I saw to get out of that was to be soft and say, "You're totally right. It was my I'm guilty. It was my thing," and try to diminish a situation by praying and feeling that, I don't know, that I could talk or pray or meditate my way out of that conflict and a situation that I knew was beyond my boundaries. The situation kept going for a very long time, and I tried to get out of that, and I tried to get out of that, and I couldn't. And I remember one day that I decided, I was so afraid to leave because I felt that this person could do something to me, that the moment in which I decided to leave, I said that I was going to come to my country. And I, when I left, I sent a text and I said that it was over. And I remember coming back to my city, this person showed up in the other side of the world 2 days after. And I had a, a feeling and an emotion of freedom, of reconnecting with myself. I swear that I touched base here in Colombia and I was meditating for honestly 4 hours at 4 hours a day. And I was going deep and almost like having this reclamation of myself in that experience. And after I had that beautiful, expansive, mystical experience, because I could feel everything talking to me as I came back to myself in that way. When this person showed up again in my country, I opened the door and this person was there. That second, not that person, but that situation awakened something in me that I have never experienced before. And now I know that is the wild woman, that savage energy inside of us, that is also inside of men. But it was the picture that kept coming to my mind was like little cat just going to the corner and making itself smaller and smaller and smaller and trying to defend itself. But the second in which I literally saw myself at a corner where there was nowhere else to go, there was almost like a motherly energy to myself of protection, that I became this huge lion in protection of myself, and there was no way nobody could come close to me. I felt that I'm a person that embody boundaries. I am a person that the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I live tells you the way in which I respect myself. And that I know that is reflected and I receive a lot of respect from people. But the moment in which I saw how the story of the toad, that you put frog or a toad in a pan and the water, it's hot, it's going to jump out. But if you put the frog in the pan and you start warming up the water, it's going to get used to the heat until it dies. I feel that happened with my boundaries. So the second in which I reclaim myself again, and I felt this person was here to cross my boundaries, and I felt so unsafe. I These boundaries were not something anymore that I was giving with grace and setting from love. It was still from love, but I felt like I was putting fire around me so nobody could cross that boundary. And since that time, this makes me want to cry because I feel that many moments I wanted to get myself out of that situation and out of many situations I had in my life. And the only energy that could take me out of that was the Kali energy. The Kali is this goddess that, if you see her, she looks like a demon. She has her tongue out, and she has multiple hands, and she's dancing with swords, and she's dancing in the middle of the fire, but she's not celebrating the chaos. She's embracing the fire instead of being something that burns her, something that like lights her up from inside, so that she comes where destruction is the only way out. That emotion and that state of being has been one of the deepest spiritual awakening for me, and she comes out in the moments in which I feel that I have truly touched ground and like rock bottom. And the only way that I have put myself up after I felt broken, I felt threatened, I felt unsafe, has been to impulse myself with this energy of fire. It is a force of nature. It is embracing and embodying your your own safety, because this is not an energy that is destructive. This is not an energy that is violent. I have never become a violent person. I am never going to attack anybody. I am never going to go after someone, and it's not an irrational um strength. It's not an irrational anger. It's an anger that has given me clarity and has sharpened my thoughts, my emotions, and my actions in the same way. Have you think? I think that it is a chi energy. When there's a Shaolin, that they don't have to inflict force to combat somebody else, but if somebody touches them, just their energy is going to push them away. Like, and a friend gave me this example yesterday. Like, if you have a magnet, you become magnetic because you own this force inside of yourself. But outside, what people see in that magnet is attraction. They feel a pull because you have this life force that it's inside of you, and it's shining everywhere, and you share it in your purpose, and it's something that honestly gives deliciousness to life in such a beautiful, feminine, soft, oh, beautiful way. But when it comes out, when the cat goes to the corner, then it's rusted out, and the chi energy is going to, only but when you touch it, is going to push you in the other side. With the magnet energy, if you come close to it, you're going to be pushing the other side, because it's a field around you that, again, doesn't come from attack, doesn't come from anger, doesn't come from defense, or it's not. It's an energy of power. Self power is the energy, the only energy that comes, is a rage that comes after self abandonment. And I just wanted to share this because in many moments of my life, I have received comments of how feminine I am and how soft, and I love dancing, I love planting trees, I love baking and cooking. And at the same time, I feel that the only thing that has allowed me to go to that polarity of expanding my branches and reaching for the sky and having that divine connection that I know I have with my soul, with my authenticity, with who I am as a woman, has been to put my roots down to the ground and stand for myself, stand for what I believe, stand for my rights, stand for my birthright, know my value, know my worth. And it's that dirt that happens underneath. If you plant a seed, you might not know what comes out of the seed. You just have a seed, but that seed needs to go with the worms, and it's in the darkness, and it goes deep on the earth, and it's not ugly, it's humid, it's lonely, it's uh but only when your roots are planted deep in your self-belief and in this relationship, this unshakable relationship that you have with yourself, then that's where you grow steady, where you know that no matter what happens, nothing can shake you, because you're there for yourself. And that is what I have experienced. I know no matter what happens after everything that I have been through, there's a side of me that knows that it's been unfair, that knows that nobody should go through certain things in life. And at the same time, I also know that there's nothing that can happen in which I'm not gonna hold my hand. I've walked through the fire with me, and there's nothing that can cause fear anymore because I know that I'm not abandoning myself. I really hope that this video gives you a different perspective of what's possible when you're exploring something deeper in your spiritual path, when you're awakening also your shadow in a way that reflects back to you where you are being unloyal to yourself, where are you betraying yourself, and what are the things. There's an anger, there's unfairness, that visceral wild fierce volcano coming in you that sometimes we haven't been listening to. And the moment in which you let that light out, again, not as something explosive, but as something bright, powerful, then you become magnetic. And then you start loving yourself in all your aspects, in all your sides, in everything that you are. That's a different level of self acceptance and self love. I really hope this video inspires something in you, and I'm beyond grateful for what I call the inner journey, where that's my favorite type of travel. When I go to different lands inside of myself, I call it Elizabeth Land, and I can explore places of fruits and beautiful trees, and also places of valleys and deserts where I can finally meet myself at a way that it's only possible there. I love you, and I hope you have the most beautiful day, and that this energy finds you and awakens in you when you need it the most.